Hey everyone, it's me. Welcome back. I had an ex-boyfriend who used to call me Pineapple Head when I looked like this. Welcome back to the channel. That's why I'm laughing. I just started my period, PS, so this is probably why everything has been irritating me the past couple of days, especially people that don't watch the video and make a comment that has nothing related to the video. But let's not digress. So this morning, when I started to record these videos, it is October 28th. Oh, there goes Salem. At 2025 at 9:41 a.m. Okay, so it's all the same day, and it's oddly good that today it just so happens that I got everything done that I had done before, and it's shorter and much more efficient. So, great. Let's continue. This morning when I woke up, I had a message about spiritual hierarchy and rank. Okay? As I explained when I first started speaking this morning. So, for this final installment of today, and this will probably be for until Christmas, I'm trying to get everything so that I can take my hiatus break. And as long as I do that by the end of this month, I should be good. Okay? So, spiritual rank. Last night I was thinking about in August of 2017. It was 1 month after I saw The Craft, and I had an experience in my old apartment in my living room where I could feel something enter the space metaphysically and in the unseen realm, okay? And I stood up upon feeling it, and I took a few steps forward. All of a sudden, I could feel a group of beings standing around me in a circle, in a tighter circle. There was probably maybe 4 or 5, not like 10 or 12, like 4 or 5, directly around me in a circle. But they were much taller, and I could feel that they had a very strong spiritual rank. Okay? Now, without making any assumptions, this is just how I felt, okay? So, when they were there, I got this feeling like they were all looking down at me, too, because they're all quite tall, all right? Taller than me. And I'm only 5'7", so they were quite tall and looking down at me. So, I had the feeling to kind of go like this. As I was standing, okay, I put my hands like this, and I had my head down. But I was standing, okay? So like this. I was looking at the ground. Because honestly, it almost demanded respect in its authority. I wasn't afraid, and they meant me no physical harm, but there was just something about it that made me snap in line. You see what I'm saying? Nothing mystical, nothing like MK Ultra, she's been trained or blah, blah, blah. No, no, no. I can just tell, like, when a being is older, it has a higher rank, even if it's darker. You see? So, anyway, um, of course, at that time in my journey, I was really struggling with things. I didn't know what to do about all of this. And um, again, I had been praying that evil would be wiped off of the earth ever since I was a little girl to the divine creator, especially from what I was going through, right? Like fairly. You know how they talked about like armies of angels coming down and wiping out. Well, I kind of thought, like a proper angel wouldn't do something like that, but it was kind of in like a spiritual ranking type of thing, beings that were chosen to do something like this, okay? So they said to me that there's going to be a culling. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, a culling? This is my thoughts, right? I didn't speak out loud. Totally telepathic. So I'm hearing them. There's going to be a culling. I'm like, a culling? What is that? Like that thing Corey Good used to talk about? Yes. And then they told me that 3/4 of humanity was going to be wiped out. That's how bad it was. That 3/4 of humanity at that point in 2017, okay? And I struggled with that. I mean, of course, this is something I think we all hope to wake up one day and no more evil assholes exist. You know? Everyone's nice to each other, we're courteous, we're compassionate, understanding, you know what I mean? They just disappear. I don't think that's such a bad thing, a bad, evil, awful person. Oh my God, damned forever. Because you felt that way. Because I'm sure we've all felt that way at some point in our lives. But I always felt it was quite a test. You know? I struggled with it, and there were so many things that, because of course, the greatest power of change is the change of the heart, right? And everybody, every day, has a chance to change, to say, you know what? I'm not going to be like this anymore. I don't want to be like this anymore. And truly have a real act of wanting forgiveness and change within the heart, which changes you. It's a transformation, really. It doesn't happen overnight, but it's a process that begins there, almost like a cleansing process, right? So I didn't really believe it until the jabs. And then I was like, oh no. Because something I didn't realize is that not everybody's definition of evil is the same. And I didn't realize that. Okay? That's the play on words and the trick of it. Is that not everybody's definition of evil or what should be removed is the same. Sorry if I can't find my words, but I'm hoping I'm making sense. Like I said with reptilians, right? It just only makes logical sense if human beings are not all the same. Why would they be? I think it's pretty racist, right? To put all beings in the same basket. And so this comes back to spiritual rank. It doesn't matter what you look like. I know I'm mentioning another religion, but again, it's an example, right? This is what they're telling us about raising our vibration and our consciousness, okay? So even if you have a being that's of a lower nature, because in Islam, in the Muslim religion, in the Quran, okay, it says with their adversary story, okay, that this Satan was actually a jinn. It was a being of the unseen realm, basically. Okay, like let's just say he kind of looked like a demon. Okay, let me just show you an example from Elena's book of sometimes the idea of what we get as like a satanic type of look with like the dragon thing, if I can find it. I think it's the Alpha Draconis one. Just give me a second here. But it's got the wings and the tail with the horns, okay? And this is what I'm talking about. That's not the right one. Just give me 2 seconds. I was looking through the whole book, and I'm like, why can't I find it? It was literally on the page before. Oops. So anyway, this is the image most time when you think of Satan. Dragon-like, winged, horned creature. But this is what they said was this the Satan, Lucifer, that rose from being a jinn, a lower dimensional, right, to a higher dimensional. But when he got there, with all his glory, we know the story. Because of pride and ego, thinking, well, why should I when I'm better than them? When I've got better, I can use fire. I'm a being of fire, they're of mud or clay or whatever. Why should I? It had nothing to do with that, though. It was about obeying your creator, obeying your heavenly mother and father. So when they say bow, you fucking bow. And this is about spiritual rank. Okay? I'm gonna keep trying, but I needed to show you this kind of stuff first, okay? Because just because you look like this, oh well, I heard this about them, so they must be like that. What does that sound like? Oh, don't drink the water from the fucking water fountain the black people drank. You're gonna get sick. Okay? If you cannot see that, you know what I mean? Just because you look like this. Now, of course, you're always going to be able to feel it, and it's based upon behavior and action, not words. You either are about it or you're not. And you're going to know this. It's going to be difficult sometimes, but you know, that's why they always told me that the spirit realm is tricky, tricky, tricky. Learned that when I was really, really young. And it's all a personal test for the individual. So it's never going to be this exact same for every person. Mm-hmm. Everything in creation was created by the divine creator. So are they. They have a job to do, even if they're not aware of it. Even by driven by that. They don't know why. It's their purpose and their job. Just like the beings that, if they existed, say they were the Asura, the ones that I saw, okay, this here, okay, that they were designed for that purpose, yes? Angels, of course, they're pretty wings, higher dimensionals that don't believe in ending existence of someone else, wouldn't do that, you see? This is what I figured, though. Something that was designed for that, with that specific purpose, would. Right? But again, I would always encourage you not to be a fucking racist. I call it reptilian racism. Right? Because this is the same with people. It doesn't matter where you go, what color you are, what race, religion, what the fuck ever. We're all the human race, and all people are basically the same. Okay? You're going to have some good people, and you're going to have some bad people. You're going to have people that live on good principles and bad ones. And that's just the way of it. That's just the cycles we all have to go through. Like the Ouroboros, the snake eating its tail, it's something that repeats, right? It's a process, like school, grade after grade, year after year. That's what soul school is, and we're all part of it, whether we realize it or not. You know? So spiritual rank, it doesn't matter what you look like, or where you're from, how long your hair is, how big your tits are, you know what I mean? How big your muscles are, or if you look like this or like him. Okay? It's all the same. And it doesn't matter. You know, just because they frighten you a little bit doesn't mean that they're dangerous. It just might be different looking to you. That's all. So I just want you to always keep a discernment, right? But use your heart, your feeling. That will always be your golden compass. That's what that is. It will help you find the way, always. You know, feel with your heart and know with your mind, right? You educate yourself, and then your heart has more direction to be able to recognize these feelings and sensations that you will get from the metaphysical, the unseen. It's something that is not seen but felt. Again, this is why your arm hair stands up, yeah? It's an energetic, metaphysical change in the energy and the air around you, your physical space, okay? Because these things are outside of our spaces that we cannot see. It's outside the light spectrum of our availability and our vision, yeah? Okay. So it explains about that in here, okay? And again, if you see this symbol, masculine and feminine source, inner alchemy. Okay, this is by Rudolf Steiner. but it actually comes from a bigger book. Hold on. And it's called The Spiritual Hierarchies and the Physical World, Zodiac Planets and Cosmos, the Collective Works of Rudolf Steiner, okay? And as you can see, what does this remind you of? The ice wall with its layers, but it also has its spiritual hierarchy of layers, okay? And that's another representative of that. So this is you, and this is the spiritual hierarchy, yes? Okay. So I did not read this book, but I'm definitely should. Oh, turned right to the page. So cherubim, seraphim, and stuff like this, they're different types of spiritual entities that have jobs within the spiritual hierarchy. Like there's jobs here, there's different metaphysical jobs out there, like being the spirit cops, which I call them the outer space police, the people in the blue suits. So that's been my experience with them, because they've been like kind of like the police for me. But you got to remember, the police aren't there to just put you in jail. The police are there to help you. You know? So there's stuff like that. So we have spiritual surgery doctors that do abductions with the spirit body. A lot of people are not, hey baby, a lot of people are not being taken in their physical bodies unless it's like a MyLab military type of thing. Okay? Then, of course, the humans would do stuff like that. Okay? But a lot of it does occur, if not all. It's just that a lot of people can't tell the difference, because you really can't. Like, even sex feels amazing in your spirit body. It feels the same. You kiss, you touch, it all feels the same. Okay? The only difference that I noticed there is that sound is different, because you don't have your auditory senses anymore, in a way. So, but that may change. I don't know. But anyway, where was I? Oh, so that was the message this morning, and seraphim was the word. And I'm like, oh, that's a rank of angel. So you may understand it in this way, where they're like spiritual doctors, but it would be one of these, like, I don't know this book enough. And again, this has a lot to do with inner alchemy. Santos Bonanchi, like I said, he just got his channel back. This man is incredible at this kind of stuff. Like, he would know what that means. You know what I mean? He talks about the crossing of Gemini, this and that. Fuck, I don't. I try so hard to follow that man, and I only grasp, like, enough to help me. Okay? But he's very good at that. All right? That's why I always recommend him, because he's a great teacher at syncretism. And, like, he would have known what that is. Like I said, the plane of consciousness in my last video, he always does that. That one line in the center, and then works on his whiteboard all through that. It's amazing, you guys. He's incredible. I wish I had teachers like him in school. You know what I mean? No one's perfect. Santos Bonanchi drinks his own urine, but I still like him. He does it urine therapy or something, okay? But he's drinking his own pee. But I still like him, and I don't judge him for it. It's fine. I don't have to drink his pee. Even if I went over and he invited me over for tea. No pee, thanks. Just tea. You know what I mean? It's fine. Okay? And just like that, like, just because that being looked like that, are you really going to judge him with wings and horns? Like, why don't you say something nice? Like, wow, look how big you are. I love the color. Like, nice skin. Wow, look at the length of your claws. That's impressive. How high can you jump? They like that shit. You know, all the beings that I've met were terrified of how I was going to react. They wouldn't even look at me, looking straight ahead, nervous as heck. Because they didn't know what I was going to think. And then I said those things to them, and they were like, oh, and a smile. You guys, it must be awful being called a demon all the time when you're fucking not. And a lot of these beings that are doing the spiritual surgery, like I told you, those poor greys, they're so fucking old. They've probably been at it for ages. And every single night they've got some human screaming in their face, you're hurting me, oh my God, demon. You know what I mean? That must be awful. But they got to put up with it because it's their job. Now, not all of them are same. Not all of them are the same. Some of them are fucking assholes. Okay, I'm not just. I'm not trying to like fuck things up to make it seem like bad is good and good is bad or whatever. Because sometimes the lines can be blurred because of all this deception. You will always feel it though. You'll always feel it, even if you just know, something's not right about this. Like I always did with Elena. Okay, Elena did not. So, um, I recommend this book because, of course, he can teach you a lot better than I can. But the playlist I made from Rudolf Steiner is fantastic, and it has this stuff in it. I've tried to find the audio books and everything like that, okay? So, but it talks about the different types of kingdoms. Let's see what this one is. The four elements, fire, and the elemental beings, the lowest realms of the hierarchy. So it even says, the knowledge that formed the basis of teachings proclaimed by the holy Rahish during the first post-Atlantean period was founded entirely upon the spiritual sources of existence. From the beginning of the post-Atlantean epoch, the most important aspect post is after, pre is before. Okay. The most important aspect of this teaching or mode of investigation was that it penetrated deeply into the natural processes and discovered the active spiritual principles underlying them. Fundamentally speaking, we are continually surrounded by spiritual happenings and beings. Physical phenomena are merely the expression of spiritual facts. Ancient spiritual science regarded the phenomenon of fire as the most important expression in nature. Spiritual research into fire comprised the central focus of all explanations of what occurred on Earth. So a lot of these reptilian beings come from the element of fire. It comes from the fire element because the salamander is the element of fire, and they do wear black cloaks. Or, well, they actually wear glowing cloaks because they will shine and glow. They're very beautiful. Okay? But some of them are nasty, and they will probably be appearing in the black cloak, which indicates a parasitical nature. This is why, like, you'll see those types of ones hanging around in people's houses or in haunted locations because, well, they need the life force energy of others to remain in this dimension. They don't want to go back to where they were. Why would they? So, there's also those things. It's like light Jedi, dark Jedi, Jedi, Sith. Same concept. Okay? Same force. Like the force. They're both using the force, but they're on different sides because they have different principles of what they believe is right and wrong. Okay? Same with these beings. So with spiritual surgeries and stuff, these are just another ranking in the spiritual hierarchy. Maybe even like cherubs or something that's lower. I'm not great at that. Let me pause, see if I can find something useful. I found it. First of all, I found Rudolf Steiner's signature. Look, I never saw that before. So that's his real signature. And on page 60, look what I found. You notice that? Connect all those lines together. What does that look like? I will show you in an example picture when I edit this. Connect it all together. If I go run and get a pencil, hold on. Okay, I got a pencil so that I can erase it later, but you're going to recognize this because I did exactly. If you put all... And you see in the diagram it has all going in? Maybe as within, so without, I don't know. It may have something to do with reality creation, but what it says from the top to the bottom: seraphim, cherubim, thrones, dominions, mights, and powers. Hold on. Came back to me again. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of the world's darkness, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Yeah. Yeah. So, and again, this talks about Saturn. But where were the dominions, mights, and powers? We shall find them within ancient Saturn. Told you about reality creation. I recognize this sign. Donald Marshall was using it. Elena Danaan uses it. And there's a couple others. I saw it right away. Okay? All right. Well, it says then the dominion, mights, and powers were within this boundary or dimension. Again, Santos talks about Saturn, and it goes along with inner alchemy as well as outer. Okay, so it's a micro to a macro. But I didn't. Oh. Wait a minute. I'm interpreting it. This is so cool. This is why you need these eyes and ears. Whereas the dominions are concerned with the highest arrangements within Saturn, within reality, the custodians. It is the mights who carry out their directives. Like maybe the Galactic Federation? Peoples? Okay. Now, wait. The powers, on the other hand, ensure that what has been constructed according to the intentions of the universe should endure as long as it is necessary without disappearing immediately. The powers, the rulers of the earth, like the peoples in the Illuminatis and the secret societies and shit. It's a hierarchy, so it goes down. The mights carry out directives, General Operating Director, and the powers preserve what has been formed by the mights. Today, we shall not consider the workings of the next hierarchy, the spirits of personality, the spirits of fire, and the angels. Let us rather, with the knowledge we have newly acquired, turn our attention into the passage of ancient Saturn to old Sun. So we've gone a little bit further ahead. Definitely, I need to read this book. Fuck. There's something about the three suns, threefold divinity amongst all peoples: Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu. And as, the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, is that what that is? As the Father of the world and the Holy Spirit, right, the three. The Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. The Son is in solar beings. The creative source of every new cosmic system also arises within this exalted Trinity. Looking back, we could say that before anything of ancient Saturn came into existence, the plan for it had to ripen within the divine Trinity. But, like the Aethers. But the divine Trinity, like the sun, has a physical, spiritual, and mental body, or whatever. Santos talks about that. The three suns. I'll put that video down below. What we have come to know as the exalted beings in the zodiac are the remnants that have passed over to us from our previous solar system. So the beings of previous ages, continue within the spiritual hierarchy, like I told you. They may not be here anymore. This is why Elena Danaan said there are aliens, extraterrestrials on Jupiter, but they're in another dimension. That's what it means. And Jupiter may be, like I said, with this alchemy thing and dimensional realms, the planets may have particular kinds of dimensions. They might even go in which, like, they put them. So the Sun, then Venus, Mercury, Moon, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, of course, is the furthest out. So that I guess Saturn's known as negative and the Sun is a positive, right? So we're going to most positive to most negative. But anyway, I hope that I explained this enough. Like I said in my stories before about the gray, that the guy was freaking out on the table, and it just looks over him. He's like, the fella's like, you're hurting me. And it looks over him and it goes, no, we're not. I felt that on a deep level. No, we're not. And then the pain went away. Because it's his spirit body. Yes, you can see your organs and stuff being taken out. He shouldn't have been conscious for that, but he woke up for whatever reason. Probably because he was meant to, as part of his spiritual journey. Looks over him. No, we're not. Yeah, that's all he said. And it's true. And they're not going to tell you what's going on because, again, that's interference with your journey, right? But they will try to calm you in some cases. I've heard lots of different stories. But anyway, this is an incredible book. The Sphere of Influence of the Archangels. So again, it's a sphere of influence. They're beings of the mind. They are fire spirits. I told you that Archangel Michael did not... See, David Wilcock fell to his own lower aspects of self, right? This is always about learning, and this beings of fire can be harsh teachers. But I can't say that the lessons that I've learned from them haven't been extremely valuable. So, painful, sometimes, most times, like fire can be, but it's often transformative. Okay? Think of it like I just saw the phoenix burning up and rising out of its own ashes. It gives you a chance to renew yourself, to become better, by being challenged with things of the lower aspect of self. Okay? So, this, yeah, I'm going to read this on my break, I believe. The children of Mercury led portions of humanity and were as powerful as what we call today the race or folk spirits. The good folk. The shining ones. It's like the ones from Ireland. When the children of Venus piloted the entire human species, those were the forceful guiding relationships of the Lemurian time. Anyway, listen, you guys. This is an excellent book. It's called The Spiritual Hierarchies and the Physical World, Zodiac Planets and Cosmos, the Collected Works of Rudolf Steiner, okay? There's this one, and then this is on consciousness, dream life, and initiation. This is Knowledge of the Higher Worlds and Its Attainment by Rudolf Steiner. And see, so I learned about the Asura, about being the guardian of the threshold there. Okay? Because you have to meet a lower aspect of self before you can meet the higher guardian. The guardian of the threshold is one, but there is a greater guardian. See? Life and death and the greater guardian of the threshold. That's what it says there. Okay? So I have copies of both of these on my Telegram for free. If you can't afford to get any of these books that I've ever suggested, this is The Initiates of the Flame by Manly P. Hall. You're not going to understand this unless it's actually your time. And this one here, is The Occult Secrets of the Vril with Maria Orsic, which we talked about in the video before, but I just, I might be able to show you a picture of it, but of course here I am now, and there's the back of it with her long hair. Okay, again, if you recognize this symbol, where's my book? Ah. Can you see both? That symbol at the top in red is this. And that's Elena's symbol as well. Okay? Alrighty. Alright, so we did this book, and then again, this fella, and I'm not recommending her book because I don't want to support her anymore. Right? You tell one lie, everything else falls apart. You see what I'm saying? So, like I said, she's copied things directly out of it, but although this is free on my Telegram, you don't have to buy it. I forgot. So I'm pretty sure I have several of her books for free on my Telegram. Okay? That's my bubble gum. Anyway, I had a rough couple of days because I wasn't able to eat much, but I've improved today. And that's just how it goes. You go through it almost feels like an arrow being pulled back, and then you again excel forward. You see what I'm saying? It'll feel like that sometimes, like, oh my God, am I going backwards? What's going wrong? Blah, blah, blah. And then I've heard other people say this, so you just kind of have to go with the flow of it. But I've done a lot of stuff from this book anyway in my past videos, okay? And I encourage you to go look at the Russian Book of Alien Races and see just how many. Because, like I said, your experience is always going to be different, and it's not going to be the same with every type of being, but all right. I'm going to go now. Okay, I showed you all my books. Yeah, and they are for free on my Telegram. And that's the only place I can post them. I didn't know where else to, and I can't open a Discord and whatnot, okay? Because it requires a code for my cell phone and whatever. I've explained it already. Okay, well, I'm tired now. I've done like 4 videos, I think, in a row. So, thank you very much for being here with me today. I greatly appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful couple of weeks, and I will see you, we'll see how I feel around Christmas, if it's a time, because I don't want to disrupt the energies and stuff that I will be moving into at this time. Okay? It's really a great time to get serious about things. And when I heard my message about stop wasting time, it really kind of kicked my ass in gear. So I really hope this has been beneficial to you and helps you in some way and allows you to be able to see things a little more clearly. You know, it took me a bit, but I realized about spiritual surgery and jobs within the spiritual hierarchies. You know, over the past couple of years, I started to recognize certain things, and I put this all together, yeah? Yeah. So I hope this helps. I hope you enjoy those books. Thank you so much for being here with me today and hearing what I have to say, me and my pineapple head. And I will talk to you soon, and I will see you again. I'll be back in the new year, but I'm not sure if I'll be here for Christmas. But I usually come and do like a live or something like that for Christmas, okay? And I will see you then. So take care, everybody. Thank you. Bye.